Welcome back. The link to previous part of the video is in description. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now let us begin. The evening started off pretty calm. Aunt Eunmi was busy tidying up the living room while Daeho carefully set the dinner plates on the table. Not long after, Maya arrived, her cheerful energy instantly lighting up the place. The three of them sat down to eat and easy chatter filled the room. Curious, Maya asked her mother, when will her dad come back from the business trip? To which Eunmi smiled gently, replying that he'll be back tomorrow. But Daeho seemed a bit off, his mind clearly somewhere else. Eunmi noticed this right away, her motherly instincts kicking in. Later that night, as Aunt Eunmi lay in bed, she kept thinking about Daeho. She quietly wished that he would get some good sleep. But just as she was about to drift off herself, the sound of a door creaking open woke her up. It was Daeho, looking stressed and restless. He admitted to her softly that he can't sleep, frustration clear in his voice. Eunmi sat up, comforting him with soothing words. After thinking for a moment, she suggested an idea to help him deal with his sleepless nights. She demonstrated him the technique, guiding him through each step. He listened to her carefully, taking down the notes. After the secret class was over, he felt relieved and left the room. The next day, Daeho's uncle returned from a business trip, bringing gifts for everyone. His arrival brought fresh energy into the house. On his way to his room, he passed Daeho, who looked uncomfortable, still thinking about the night before. His uncle, seeing his expression, wondered why he looked so upset. He was curious. Later, after her shower, Maya was heading to her room when she saw Daeho lingering nearby. "Can I come in?" he asked nervously. She nodded, asking him what is going on. Fidgeting a little, Daeho tells her that he is bored and wondered if they could play some game. Maya burst into laughter, surprised. She asks him if he really wants to play a game like small kids. Curious, she asks him about the specifics of the game. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Aunt Eunmi was washing dishes, her mind wandering. She reassured herself that now her husband was back, Daeho wouldn't bother her much. Plus, she'd helped him enough to handle things on his own. She then makes some tea for her husband. Back in Maya's room, Daeho nervously explained the rules of the game. When Maya inquires about who taught him the game, he mentions his friend Gobong's name. Though he felt a little guilty, he couldn't reveal that it was actually Aunt Eunmi who had shown him how to play, as he had promised her to keep it a secret. She then asks him when does he plans to play. To which Daeho replies, "Right now." Maya chuckles, reminding him to wrap it up soon, as she needs to rest later. As Daeho set up the game, she scrolls through her phone, wondering if Gobong was a bad influence. Without warning, Daeho starts the game, catching Maya completely off guard. "Hey, I wasn't ready," she laughed, shaking her head. Taking a deep breath, she reminded herself it was just a game, but her heart was racing with excitement. As they played, Maya was surprised by Daeho's skills. "Are you cheating?" she teased, then grinned, deciding to just enjoy the game. Eventually, Daeho got tired and reached for a drink, but he accidentally spilled it all over Maya. Though there was a hint of laughter in her voice, she groaned at him, yelling that she had just taken a shower a few minutes back. Daeho stammered, as he apologized, blushing with embarrassment. Maya then sighed and waved him off, telling it was just fine. She then orders him to get out of her room as she needed to sleep. Later that night, Daeho lay in bed, replaying everything in his head. He felt bad about it and decided he'd make things right. The next morning, Aunt Eunmi's cheerful call for breakfast woke Daeho up. Still half asleep, he stumbled out of his room and bumped into Maya outside hers. Feeling awkward, he tried to slip past her without making eye contact. But Maya greeted him like nothing had happened. "Come on, let's eat," she said casually, heading downstairs. Daeho stood there, confused, wondering why she isn't mad. That night, curiosity got the better of him. He peeked into Maya's room to see how she was doing. She was doing yoga, looking peaceful. She calls him inside her room when she notices him standing outside. Daeho shuffles inside, scratching the back of his neck, asking her if they can play that game again. Meanwhile, Suo was busy typing away on her computer. After finishing her work, she headed to the kitchen for a late-night snack. She opened the fridge, grabbed some food, and started making an omelet. Eunmi walked in, raising an eyebrow. She asks her what was she doing? Suo, without looking up, replies that she was feeling hungry and was preparing some sandwich to eat. To which Eunmi tells her that she shouldn't stay up so late and instead get some sleep. Suo explains her mother that her semester just ended and she wants to take some break and enjoy. Eunmi rolled her eyes but didn't push further. On her way back to her room, She passes by Daeho's room and talks to herself that she doesn't need to worry about him anymore. But deep down, she knew that wasn't entirely true. The scene shifts back to Maya's room. She looked at Daeho, annoyed, telling him that it was late and she was in no mood to play. Daeho, looking a bit embarrassed, replies that he knows, but since he cheated the last time they played, he wants a fair rematch. Maya sighs, seeing how serious he is. She then tells him that it's just a game and he doesn't need to take it so personally and feel guilty about it. But Daeho kept insisting. Noticing his disappointment, Maya finally gives in. She thinks to herself, he doesn't really have many close friends besides Gobong. Maybe she should just play with him. She patiently explains the rules, and Daeho listens carefully. They start the game and end up playing all night. Eventually, Daeho gets too tired and leaves to get some sleep. On his way out, he bumps into Swa, who's heading back to her room from the kitchen. Daeho panics, telling her that he was just chatting with Maya. Swa rolls her eyes and says she doesn't care as she walks past him. Daeho breathes a sigh of relief, glad she didn't make a big deal out of it. The next morning, Maya lies in bed, staring at the ceiling. She feels restless, thinking about the game. She'd actually enjoyed it and wanted to play more. Frustrated, she gets up, unable to sleep any longer. In the kitchen, she's surprised to see Swa awake so early. "You're up?" Maya asks, raising an eyebrow. "Yeah, I'm going to the library, so I woke up early," Swa replies casually. Their uncle joins them for breakfast, happy to have the whole family together. Watching Daeho, Maya realizes he's the only one she can play the game with. But she feels awkward asking him, worried about what he might think. Later, when Swa and their dad leave, Maya thinks it's the perfect chance to talk to Daeho. First though, she needs to get her mom out of the house. She goes to kitchen and suggests her mom that she should make something special for dad as he's been working hard and looks a bit thin. Yunmi agrees and heads out for some shopping. Maya grins, thrilled her plan worked. Just as she's about to go to Daeho's room, he steps out saying he is heading to see Gobong. Maya feels frustrated. She snaps, telling him that she was coming to talk to him since he was alone. Daeho apologizes and leaves in a hurry. On his way to Gobong's, Daeho suddenly stops, realizes he's missing something important. He rushes back home and straight into Maya's room. Maya's face lights up when she sees him. Slightly out of breath, he tells her that he wants to play the game. They start playing, laughing and having fun. After a while, Maya loses. Since they had a bet, she agrees to do whatever Daeho wants. "Let's play a new game," he says, excited. They dive into the new game, completely immersed. Daeho's heart races with excitement. Maya feels a wave of emotions, remembering when Daeho was little and she used to take care of him. She realizes she's never enjoyed playing games this much. She starts to get hooked. Suddenly, Aunt Eunmi returns from the market. She heads upstairs, calling out Maya, asking if she could help her with the cooking. Maya panics. "Wait! Don't come in," she shouts. Eunmi pauses, suspicious, wondering if someone is with her. Maya quickly replies, telling her that she is just changing and doesn't want her to see her like that as she is too embarrassed. Eunmi chuckles, telling her to come down when she is done. As she heads downstairs, she wonders how Daeho is doing these days. They haven't talked much recently. Back in the room, Maya tells Daeho to stop playing as she need to help her mom. She instructs him to go back to his room without getting caught. Later, Maya joins her mom in the kitchen. While peeling onions, she tells her mom to forget about their conversation earlier. She looked a bit embarrassed and. Suddenly, Daeho rushes out of the house. "I'm going to meet Gobong," he calls out. Eunmi looks at Maya asking if she knew that Daeho was home, raising her eyebrows.